He was a journeyman hockey player, but he got up into the big leagues for a cup of coffee, but he was always up front. He was always a good coach. He was a player's coach. Spoke his
Hey, what is this here? What do you know about coaching there, Jack? What's going on?
I
What are
know
you doing
a lot
in my
about
laneway?
I'm coming in, we're doing a show in
We
here.
are?
We are doing it. Where'd you get the jacket?
You like this jacket? You like this tie? Is this beauty or what? How you like this inch tie here? He's going to a funeral, I tell you.
52 Chevy missing seat covers right now. What is this mutt doing
this
here?
Is she's a TV. She's looking at the TV. Isn't
is that
she's
right?
a TV star now.
Can we go in
yes,
here and do the
come
show?
on in. Now, what kind of
on?
show is this?
This is going to be a Don Cherry show.
Well, it's not a basketball show.
Not basketball.
Well, what
it's
do you
a
know
hockey
about
show.
hockey?
I
know about hockey.
I know a lot about hockey. I know. Get this dog.
That's for calling her a mutt. That's for calling her a mutt.
Attack me again for crying out loud. For some 30-odd years, hockey fans have loved and love to hate Don Cherry. From the ice to the bench to the TV screen, the man and the game have been inseparable. While growing up in Kingston, Ontario, he played in high school, junior B, midget, and juvenile hockey, all at the same time. Little did he realize it was forecasting 16 of the most grueling and rewarding years any minor leaguer could imagine. Armed with a Memorial Cup title from his 1953 season with the Barrie Flyers, 20-year-old Cherry headed south the next year to Hershey, Pennsylvania, a town famous for two exports, chocolate and future Boston Bruins. He hit everyone who moved during that first pro training camp and made a lot of enemies, but Don had one mission: make the club or make somebody pay for it if he didn't. He fought hard, but he fell short of the Boston roster, and for the next 14 years, with help from what was to become his trademark, the feuds with management, Cherry ricocheted across the minor league map, landing finally in Rochester, New York, where he spent 6 years as a member of the Americans. There, he competed in 4 straight AHL finals and savored 2 Calder Cup victories. But in 1970, at the age of 36, Cherry's market value bottomed out. Snubbed by the Americans' management, Cherry toyed with retirement, but realized he could not part with the game. In 1971, he fought his way back on the Americans' lineup, but his second coming in hockey was short-lived. Youth development left Cherry on the bench, where he witnessed team and fan support sag for Coach Doug Adams and his strict style of play. Instead, the players shifted to Cherry for strategy and leadership, and on the virtual brink of club mutiny, Adams surrendered and Cherry inherited his first coaching job. The 10 years he spent in Rochester as a resident coach and eventually GM were good for Cherry. He successfully forged his own minor league dynasty and picked up the Hockey News Coach and Manager of the Year, even Rochester's Citizen of the Year. But the hockey life in Rochester was maybe too good, too easy. There was no pressure, no meddling management, and it just wasn't the big time. So in 1974, when Harry Sinden, a Stanley Cup winning coach and GM, dangled the reins of the Boston Bruins his way, he had to go. As a rookie coach and a leader of Bobby Orr and the fabled Bruins, Cherry found plenty of what was missing in Rochester. The pressure to recreate the Bruins' magic made his debut a shaky one. But during the second season, he gained his footing, and the Lunch Pail Gang was born. He groomed them tough and honest, and made sure that they punched the clock at 7:30 and never stopped working. That earned him over 100 points 4 seasons in a row and 3 straight first-place finishes. For his work, Cherry was rewarded with the National Hockey League Coach of the Year honor and, in turn, a coaching job on the victorious 1976 Team Canada squad. But in 1979, during his 5th season in Boston, his old rivalry with management resurfaced. The Cherry-Sinden relationship began to decay, and then it finally collapsed. The beginning and the end came in the 7th game of the Stanley Cup semifinal round against Montreal. In the 3rd period, it was tied up with 3 goals apiece, when with 4 minutes to go, Rick Middleton slid the puck past Dryden. But the lead didn't stick. At 17:26, the unthinkable happened. Cherry was caught with too many men on the ice. Guy Lafleur cashed in on the power play to tie it up. Despite Cherry's efforts to rally his troops, at 9 minutes into the overtime, a shot buried the Bruins for good.
I never seen a team try so hard and not win. It was just, I want to cry for them. I look at them and I feel so much for them that...
While mourning his infraction and a loss to Montreal, Cherry knew that the love affair with Boston was over. But waiting at the exit were members of the troubled Colorado Rockies with a whopping $135,000 offer, more than double his take at Boston. He headed west, confident that he could yank the Rockies out of the basement to the top of the league in 3 years. But once again, his dismal track record with management continued, leading to his second split with a National Hockey League club in 2 years. But whether he knew it then or not, Cherry's hockey worries were over. Recognized as a natural for TV by Toronto producer Ralph Mellenby, Cherry took a shot at hockey commentary. And the rest, of course, is history. Saturday night hockey would be bland without Coach's Corner, Cherry's fiery huddle with his sidekick, Ron McLean. The show has secured him the celebrity status he had always chased as a player, but with none of hockey's hassles. And whether you're one of the many who love him or love to hate him, you have to admit that Don Cherry, hockey's TV superstar, never disappoints.
Wendell Clark is a better hockey player with half a back than most guys is with fullback.
Most guys are. Wendell Clark is a big goal for Wendell. Clearly, he's still bothered by this.
Literary giant here. Literary
Is
giant.
important. You're setting an example to many young Canadians, and I think.
Yeah, well, I'm rich. I'm richer than you, and you can speak, right? So don't start telling me how to speak. I can count. So go ahead.
Okay.
He's a man behind the mic and he loves a good fight. Got his own set of words and they come out just right. He's a hockey man seen coast to coast. And if you don't go in corners, he hates you the most. Grapes! I'll tell you something right now. Grape Jam!
Don, first I want to thank you for letting us in here. This is the real Grapevine. This is where you live.
This is where we even patterned the restaurants after this. You can see the old beams and stuff like that. And this is where I sit night after night after night watching hockey games with my Molsons and little cheese and crackers, stuff like that. I love it now. This is heaven to me.
I mean, we started off 30 seconds. We have 2 commercials. I mean, is that the way it's going to be the whole?
That's the way I work, Jack.
All right. I wanted to talk about Don Cherry. How long were you playing before you met Rose?
Well, I met Rose my first year pro, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but like young guys when you're young and you're away from home, like out of another country and that, we were pretty wild. Like, we were young gladiators, 20 years old, 19.
Believe this.
That's a true story.
Yeah.
And I was really having some ball. And all of a sudden, I met Rose, and she was only 17 at the time, believe it or not. And so she had to be in at 11. So I used to take her home. I'd go to a show, take her home, then go out with the guys. But it calmed me down a little, and I think, honest to God, I'd never said it before or to her, that I think it calmed me down a little, because we were like in the old days. You can't believe, Jack, in the old days in the minor leagues how the players were. They were rough, tough guys. I mean, you had in the National Hockey League guys coming down through the American League, and they were fighting to go, and there was guys fighting to go on their way up, and I mean literally fighting. So we were a pretty tough bunch.
So nobody's comfortable in that league. I mean, everybody's either moving up or protecting themselves so they don't move down.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of guys coming up, and I saw a lot of guys going down. I just stayed even. And that's what I was for 16 years.
Yeah, not only that, but you were a car salesman. Weren't you one of super salesman?
Well, I'd have to say it was a low point in my life. Not that car salesman. They got more nerve than, I don't know how they do it, but I established myself as the world's worst car salesman. I hated it. I hated going up cold and asking the person, would you like this car? I mean, it's hard to believe, but I couldn't do it. I was the only car salesman who hoped it rained, that nobody come in. And it was the lowest point of my life, because I couldn't. And one time a guy said, all you car salesmen are alike. And I nailed the guy against the wall. And I thought, I better get out of here at this business. And I went down, and I was 36 years old. I hadn't played in 2 years. I went down to Rochester Americans and asked if I could have a comeback. I didn't have a job. Here it goes back, education. I had no education, no trade. I had nothing. I couldn't even get a job. It was back in 71 when the recession was on in the States. I couldn't even get a job as a laborer.
Now you're coaching in Boston.
Yeah, we went
Tell us a little bit. Now, that's the big leagues. That's what you dream of, right?
Yeah. We were four first-place finishes in the Adams division, the toughest division in the world. And we were 4 first. We scored 300 goals every year, and life was beautiful. Absolutely.
And what happened? What happened to life? What happened to the Rose?
Well, what happened was that I blame Harry all the time because it's good shtick on TV. I have a good time with him. I say the funny thing, like our relationship was weird and wonderful. He was weird and I was wonderful. It goes over good. But I was half my fault. I started to own the club.
How about Don Cherry? Don Cherry, general manager of a great hockey team. Would you hire Don Cherry to be your coach?
Woo. I don't know. That's a good question. I've never been asked that before. I'll tell you one thing. If I'd be ready for trouble all the time, and I'd be a real pain. I don't know whether I would hire him. I know you'd win. I know you'd get crowds. I know everything you're there, but very, very difficult to control.
Well, what's your job as general manager? To win and get crowds, huh? Wouldn't it be?
Yeah, I
think you could live with him?
I don't know if I could live with him because it was very difficult. A very, very difficult person. In fact, not only that, I'm very difficult on TV. And really the only person that really controls me on TV is my son, Timothy. And I couldn't do my Grapevine shows, and I have an awful time in hockey. People think at Hockey Night in Canada, I have a lot of people that don't like me in Hockey Night Canada that's behind the scenes. I shouldn't say that, but that's the way life is.
What, love them or hate them? Isn't that the relationship people have?
Yeah, I don't know. I work at the people that hate me. I hate them.
How long have you been married, Don? 30.
I hate to say it.
No,
35.
Okay, yeah, all right. So
35 years.
Yeah, okay, now, in a sport where this is used, your kind of life is used as an excuse now for marriage breakdown.
Yeah.
I mean, marriage, 50% marriage breakdown. And
I was.
How did it survive?
The big thing I remember not whining all the time, and I have to laugh when I see some of the players' wives now. They say, I'm not fulfilled as a woman or as a person. I mean, I don't like to be Dave the Hammer Schultz's wife. I remember reading that. She says, I want to be a person. And I have to tell you now, it's a funny thing. I come through like the macho guy. I don't do a thing. She runs my whole life. You know how when a husband dies, the wife's lost. She ever dies, I'm done. Yeah. She's my agent. She does everything, and she answers. She does everything. She said, I want to get a new car. I got to ask her. Is it okay, Rose, if I get a new car? Maybe it's because she was the boss she stuck so long. I don't know.
That's right. She
maybe, sure it's not a good thing.
Not going to be in charge of
maybe she saw good potential. I'm not doing bad now, Jack.
Uncle Don. Son of a gun.
Now you look good. Now you look sharp. Finally, all right.
Well, I was down I've been down in the dumps the last few days, so while I was there, I decided to buy a shirt and tie.
Jeez, I'll tell you now, this is the sharpest you've ever been in your life, I'll tell you.
Well, the guy
what a shirt, what a shirt.
The guy told me this doesn't fit. You got to have a red neck, he said. Something about a thick red neck to get this done. How about on your television career now? The statements you come out with, the remarks, is that a carryover from coaching?
Well, I think it is. I told my daughter sometimes likes to act like me, and I says, look, if you're going to act like me, you're going to pay the price. And I just come out and say it. I don't think about it, and I think as a coach, you react. As a player, you react. And when I'm on with Ron McLean, I react to what he says. I don't think. And when I start thinking, as Joe Crozier said one time, you start thinking you're going to hurt the club. So I just go out and do it. If they don't like it, there's nothing they can do because it's live. And I save my real good stuff till the playoffs sometimes.
I'll tell you what, knowing you as well as I do, one thing I've never accused you of doing is thinking
That's
about
it.
anything.
All right. And if I start, I'll screw it up, too.
$3,200 a year to beautiful operation. How many? 7, 8, 9, 10?
We got 9, and we're going to have 10 in about a month.
All right,
and we're going to build up to about 15. And when they say to me on Hockey Night in Canada, you've gone too far, which they are going to say, believe me, I'm going to say, see you later.
Adios. Adios, amigo. Huh?
That's it. That's the only way to do it.
And you'll spend your time behind the bar or in front of the bar?
I'm always in front looking good. And when I was on television, I'm not going to play it safe. It was the funniest thing. I just been fired by Boston, and next year I was fired by Colorado. So I got on Coach's Corner, and I was doing it, and I was terrible. I mean, I was like nothing. I was playing it safe. I was saying the right thing, doing this, doing that. Everything was just perfect. You know what I mean? Everything was perfect. So I saw an old video how I used to act when I'd get on in between periods in Boston. And I said, hey, geez, that's why they hired me. So I just reverted right back to the way I was. And if they don't phone Rose by Thursday, I know I'm back on Saturday. That's the way my contract goes. Could be terminated anytime.
Would you consider politics? I know you got ideas about what you'd do if you were, but if someone came to you today.
Yeah, I'd have to make some dough, get ahead a little in dough, and I'd like to get into it, and I don't think I'd last long because I'll tell you, when I see the signs all the time, Don Cherry for Prime Minister, that's all around the thing, I love that. One of them was spelt wrong, so that gives you an idea, but no, I'd like to. I'd like to get into it, and I'd like to go to there, and when I hear these guys getting up in Parliament or whatever you call, and my right honorable friend over there, I'd say, I'm not your right honorable friend. Don't call me right honorable friend. Do this. Why are these people getting into this country? Why are these people on welfare that can be out working? Why are these guys on unemployment that could be out doing something? And guys like me and the guys that are working 10 hours a day on construction and the guys that are working the factory are sick of supporting these parasites.
Don, your family, your kids.
Our kids, Cindy traveled around with us everywhere we went. She, unfortunately, she went to Three Rivers at 3 years old and pulled her out of school here. And then we went to this place and pulled her out of school there, which was very tough on her. And Timothy came along, and he was the apple of your eye, your boy and all that stuff and everything. And he had his kidney transplant, and thank God, the Lord, I have to say that, Rose was the one that made the decision there. He was on the dialysis machine for 6 months, and I don't know, I was in a fog the whole time. Life wasn't even worth living, and she says, we're making a decision. He's getting one of our kidneys. And so I didn't know. I went down, and they took a tissue of my daughter come down. She was only 21. She took a tissue, and Rose was good. I was good, but Cindy was like they were twins. And
how old was Tim?
Tim was 15. It was a tough deal. And after the operation, Rose sat with Cindy, and I sat with Tim, and honest to God, you could see they had a thing dripping through with the kidney in it, like intravenous or something, and you could see the color coming back to his face by the minute. It was a miracle. And thank God he's been, ever since, he produces my shows and Rock'em Sock'em, the whole deal. He does it all. So the Lord's been good.
How about Coach's Corner? Is that any different? I mean, you're working with, with special people. You got Ron McLean involved there, right in there with you. What's that kind of a situation? What happened?
When I do Coach's Corner, I have to have, you guys will be interested in this, I have to have everybody out of the room. Everybody. I can't have floor director. I can't have anybody looking in. I can't have anybody around. I've got to have them all. The cameraman's got to be on there, and he can't move while I'm on Coach's Corner. I don't want a guy picking his nose or like that. It's got to be like this. Like these guys are walking here. Doesn't bother me at all. But Coach's Corner would. Wait a minute.
Hey, you're not going to believe the horrible recurring nightmare I'm having.
What is this stuff? Where are all my shirts going?
You get that same stuff?
The only, I don't have quite the tailor. We got this one from Red Deer. But what was he saying? The only thing that bugs him is when somebody in the background moves around. You guys are probably rigor mortis must be setting in now. I know it is on hockey night.
How about the guy?
Sorry to barge in.
How about nice going.
I know
pink,
it's a full of on this.
It's a pink one, folks. It suits him.
I'm just going to take this off. This is a typical interview, huh, Jack, with Grapes. You don't have any questions. But the first time I met him was October 10th, 86, and I'll never forget this because I was at Maple Leaf Gardens about 2 in the afternoon, and I'm waiting for Cherry to arrive, wondering what's this guy going to be like, and he finally blows in about 6 in the evening, and he storms into the studio. So I asked my first provocative question of Grapes, who's, and you got to remember, now he's on the left where he is politically. I asked my first big question, and I rivet my eyes to Don, and they're not going to budge. But as you know, if you've ever tried to stare at somebody and you thought about it, 2 things happen. Either you blink incessantly or your eyes begin to water, and that's what happened to me. My left eye began to water, and now I was feeling the trauma, and all of a sudden, kerplunk, this enormous tear goes down the left side of my cheek. The people at home can't see it because I'm profile right, But Don can see it, and he's looking at me thinking, good griefs, this kid gonna bawl every time I'm the least bit controversial.
And he's not going to say, I mean, he's not going to bring it up.
He was really good. Well, he would today.
Yeah,
but back then I was new, and I learned he was kind of a team guy, because I think I asked that first question, it was 3.5 minutes, and he went the whole 3.5 minutes covering for
That's
me.
before
I
you
was in
learned who
trouble.
your friends and enemies were.
Yeah, I was going to. I'd look over. I think I'd be going, and I'd look over like that. Is he got rid of that cheer yet? No. Well, I got to go back
Oh,
again.
it's the worst experience of my life.
I almost hung you a couple of times in Calgary.
Oh, absolutely. We had 2 days between games out in Calgary. And the first game at the end, I can't recall. Oh, I know what it was. You said something about you should be wearing a red jacket, not that blue, and you're cheering for Calgary. And I got kind of upset. It made me look silly. And
I didn't think anything of it.
No big deal, really. But I was in a tired or defensive state that day. So when we get off, I said, Don, you're going to be off television in 2 years anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh, no, you didn't say it that way.
Yeah.
You didn't say, you said, geez, that's unprofessional.
Right.
That's
Right.
unprofessional.
Not
Oh,
network.
it doesn't matter. You won't be on
right.
television in 2 days.
Right.
2 years, you'll be off.
All right, I was upset. What do you want? How about the kid in Montreal? Last year in the playoffs, we're sitting in the Grand Hotel. After the game, we go downstairs for a little quick bite to eat. He won't eat, but having a few pops. These 4 young guys come up in all earnest, and the one guy who's the leader of the pack, and they're not drinking, they're stone sober, really polite. He says, you know, Mr. Cherry, you've been on television now, network television here in Canada for 10 years. Doesn't it bother you the least that fashion has never caught on? That's the only time I've seen him speechless. And we were sitting there, perfect.
Yeah, you loved that one,
We
didn't
couldn't
you?
curtail the grin.
I couldn't tell you what I told the guy, but it was impossible to do, physically.
What do you say when I say we're out of time?
Oh, not out of time. I thought I was getting 4 minutes. That's not 4 minutes. I want to talk about Trevor Linden, for heaven's sakes.
Quick.
Trevor Linden. Hey, fourth line, Bob McCabe and the 2 Russians on the power play. Trevor Linden was your guy last year. Come on, what are you, fourth line? The kid's lost all his confidence. Get him back on the first line. Put the Ruskies on a fourth. Make them earn their way, Bobby.
Come on now, here we go. I'll tell you, I haven't learned anything about hockey playing with this guy all day. I didn't expect to, though. And now I learned a little bit about coaching, and I learned a lot about how being friends with that camera. Nobody does it better than Don Cherry. And you know, as he says, he's Popeye. I am what I am, and that's all that I am. And he is what he is. And I kind of like it. But I'm not losing this game, and now...
Oh, what is that? In and out, in and out, in and out.
In and out. Look at this operation here. We go. What are you doing?
That's you over here, over here, over here. Get it.
Come on
What
now,
a basketball guy you are. Wait a minute, my goalie here. That's it, that's
Now
it.
to this side. Now this guy should get it. Come
That's you
on.
up there now.
I get it behind the goal and flip it over to this guy. Oh, get
no,
out of here.
you're
Come
dead.
on.
You're dead.
Get out.
You're
No, I'm
dead.
not dead here.
Oh, geez, dude.
Oh, baby, look at this guy.
Oh.
Where's that guy? Where's my...
Going to England? Enjoy Air Canada's new direct service from Ottawa to London Heathrow every Wednesday and Sunday. For complete details, call your travel agent or Air Canada at 237-5000 today. While in Toronto, the staff of Donohue's Legend stayed at the Ramada Renaissance Hotel at the corner of Yonge and Bloor in the heart of downtown Toronto.
I don't care who you think you are. Get out of here. This is you up. If you don't hit it, it's not getting hit right now.
This is a strange game.
Yeah, well, the way you...